So, I am 48 years old and I literally get paid, and I get paid really well, to travel the world. And today I want to tell you exactly how you can do it too. And no, I'm not talking about drop shipping. I'm not talking about anything complicated on the computer, graphic design, setting up a Shopify store, living on your laptop. In fact, there's not even a laptop required. Anybody can do it. I'm going to tell you how. Stick around. So the first thing I want to do is I want to show you me. This was me this past March of 2024. And this is going to be me again in October of 2024. And then again in March of 2025, except I'll be adding on Hong Kong, hopefully, as well as Thailand. And here is me in a whole bunch of other countries back over the years. Well, that's enough about me. So I often get asked, how is it that at 48 years old, I travel the world? Number one, I am a dad. I am married. I have a full-time job. I have a car. I have a home. So I am about to crush a lot of you guys' self-limiting beliefs if you're in your 40s and you think that this is only for the 20-year-olds, or you got to have some kind of complex Shopify store, laptop job, any of that computer stuff. The guys, I don't even know what those words are, because that is so how little I know when it comes to all this like digital nomad, online, seeing the world stuff. I'm going to tell you how you can do it without a single drop of real computer knowledge, besides being able to use email, Facebook, maybe Instagram, and being able to actually talk to somebody on a telephone. How do I do it? Well, basically, there is two things that you can do and that I do. Number one is you can look up at partnering with an organization that is currently running courses or running workshops or doing some sort of events in a niche or in an area that you are a specialist in. Now, you know me, I'm a men's health coach, but I am by default down the line, the very base is I am a personal trainer. Now, while I moved out of, say, gym personal training and focusing more on online coaching and running events and retreats and that sort of stuff, which we're going to get to, the end of the day, I'm a personal trainer. And what I did is I looked for organizations that conduct personal training certification courses that I will teach for. So I teach their information. So for instance, I've worked with CanFit Pro, which means I can travel around pretty much Canada, really the world, but we'll say Canada, teaching CanFit Pro courses. And I work with an American company called the NAFC. And those courses I can run anywhere in the world. Now, the beautiful part about this, guys, is you don't really have to do a lot. You don't have to create manuals. You don't have to create an outline. Everything is there for you. These guys provide the manuals. They provide the PowerPoints. They provide everything. All I literally have to do is teach their materials. Now, we're going to talk about marketing and how I do that in a few minutes. But some of these companies, for instance, CanFit Pro, they do the marketing for you. In fact, I have to do relatively little. I just post a course, the days, the times, where it's going to be, and they fill it. It's as simple as that. Now, with NAFC, I have to do a little more of the marketing, but we'll talk about that. I'm not going to get really into the details, but I'm going to just show you guys how easy it is. Now, the other thing that you can do, and this is where honestly most of my, probably 90% of my actual world traveling comes in here, is by developing continuing education courses for professionals. Now, a really simple search today on ChatGPT gave me a whole list. Now, some of these are right. I called a couple friends and they said, it's kind of 50% right. But I'm going to give you basically some of the areas where professionals have to get CEC courses. CEC, by the way, guys, means continuing education credits. So a lot of times when you're in a profession, You have to stay up to date with the latest research and the latest kind of what's happening. And you do that by taking courses. You could do that through online courses, live courses, quite often going to conferences. And I've been part of all three of those. So we take a look. One is healthcare professionals, such as doctors, nurses, pharmacists, and dentists. Fitness and wellness professionals, personal trainers, group fitness instructors, nutritionists. Education professional, teachers, school administrators, special education teachers. Legal professions, attorneys and paralegals. Finance and accounting, certified public accountants, financial planners, insurance professionals. Engineering and technical professionals, meaning professional engineers, architects, surveyors. Now, I did call a friend who is an interior designer, and she said, no, you don't actually have to get continuing education to stay as an interior designer, at least in the area she's in. But guys, interior design is changing all the time. And any job, guys, changes all the time. Every single job. There's nothing the same as it was 10 years ago, 20 years ago. Different aspects of the job change. So she even said, well, there's no real reason that you would have to. If you want to stay up on the cutting edge, if you want to know what's going on and when it comes to trends and the different materials and different colors and just different architectural styles, then you definitely do want to take some sort of continuing education, which we'll talk about in a minute when I get to non-CECs, which is, again, where the majority of my money comes from is non-CECs. Real estate professionals, real estate agents, brokers, property managers, social services. I'll stop covering all these. I'll just go over the main categories. Environmental and safety professionals, business and management professionals. So all of those, depending on where you are to some extent, need continuing education, whether it's something that they have to do or something that, let's be honest, if you want to be good at your job, you probably should do. Now, we can take that and we can knock it down a peg by going what's called non-CEC courses. That is just developing courses that different people are going to be interested in. And it could be professionals, it could be the public. For example, I create education courses for fitness professionals. So now I run the courses that certify personal trainers around the world. However, I also create courses for those personal trainers once they get certified to stay continually educated. Now, this is the thing. In a lot of developing countries, the people that take my courses, the students taking it, they do not even have basic personal training certifications. They are just guys and girls who are interested in fitness or the aspect that I'm talking about. And of course, I create courses that are popular based on the trends going around. So I have a HIIT course, I have a Metcon course, which is basically, very similar to CrossFit. I have a fitness weightlifting course. I create courses based on different countries. I go, okay, some countries have access to really great equipment. Some countries don't. So how do we get a really good workout if you have very limited equipment? Like a lot of places, Hong Kong, for instance, you're not getting gigantic gyms. So I said, okay, there's needs for, say, Canada and the US, but there's also needs for Philippines, Thailand, Hong Kong, things like that. So I just sit there and I create courses that I think are going to be popular. Now, you can have lots of things. I'm just talking about fitness professionals, but for instance, if you're a mechanic, right? You'll probably want to learn about the different sorts of engines that come out. You're going to want to learn about different hybrid vehicles, right? Like I doubt your mechanic from 20 years ago knew anything about, say fixing and working on hybrids where it's partially electric, where there's a lot more different wiring and things like that. Now, I don't know anything about mechanics. I'm just assuming that's probably a true thing. You could just teach, say, a CPR course because so many professions just need CPR. So you just teach CPR. You can travel around the world teaching CPR. Sales. There's lots of people. Maybe you're really good. Let's say you're a really good salesman. Let's say you are amazing. And my grandfather did this. He was amazing at selling cars. So he started creating and developing courses about selling cars. So he had car salesmen coming in who do not need any kind of continuing education, but wanted to make more money. So they would come to him and they would learn from him, and he put workshops and courses together. And then, of course, you also have, like I mentioned, things like interior designers. And I'm going to tell you, like, guys, you can really niche down, which I'll talk about in a minute, because everybody is an expert in something. Now, I want to show you one guy. Look at this right now. This guy literally lives in Canada, but travels to the Philippines, and I don't know about other countries, and I just know from the Philippines for sure because we have the same marketing person, and he teaches courses on how to tint windows. That's it. He literally gets to fly over to other countries to teach them how to tint windows. And he has what's called, I believe it's the Tint Academy. And he just has guys come and girls come who just want to learn how to tint windows and they want to make money tinting windows. Guys, if you can travel the world teaching people how to tint windows, you can travel the world teaching something that you know. Because you right now, something you know you are an expert in that you could teach somebody else. What that is, I have no idea. You know what that is. So now I want to talk about where I want to go. And I've been toying with it. It's going here and there, but this is the direction I want to go. I want to go from just doing courses, 1 day and 2 day courses. I want to move into, say, retreats, and you can do this too. Now, a lot of people think when I say retreats, I'm talking about these gigantic yoga, just craziness, masterminds. You got to rent, a 5-star Airbnb in Hawaii or whatever. That's not what I'm talking about, guys. I have my Barbells to Buddhas men's boot camps. It's just a 2 day. It's local. People come into Vancouver, clients or whatever, new clients, old clients, and potential clients come in, and we work out and retrain for 2 days. And I just do some local things. We got local cold dips. There's local saunas. There's local rock climbing. There's local trails. There's a local all-you-can-eat buffet. That is just a local retreat, right? And that's what I just call a getaway, a boot camp, whatever you want to call it. Now, you could say make a getaway. So you got my boot camp. Then there's a getaway. Maybe that's like 2 or 3 days. And again, it's some teaching and some fun. And then you can work your way right up to retreats. And the way I look at retreats is kind of like this, guys. You got local, okay? Meaning, to me, a local means that you can drive to it. So it's within a drive. Then you have easy to get to, which is something like a place like, say, Mexico, maybe someplace in the U.S., maybe an island somewhere in Canada here, somewhere Whistler, for instance. Even Whistler would be local, but somewhere where you can fly to, relatively easy. Maybe it's within a 3-hour flight, 4-hour flight, maybe 6 hours max. Quite often the same time zone, maybe one time zone difference, but it's a place that requires some logistics, but not crazy amounts. And then finally, you have international. These are the big international retreats. It's just what my next goal is going to be, is actually doing retreats, say, in places like Thailand. Now, those are much bigger, right? And they require more work because they're, it's a 16, 18-hour flight. There may be, depending which flights you're going to take, it could be, you're going to lose a couple days, the couple days coming back. There's a lot more work that goes into those, but they don't have to be like that. It could be something as just, for me, for instance, I'll give you an example. I go and find a gym that is maybe not open weekends or very limited on weekends. And then I say, hey, you know what? Could I rent your gym from, maybe noon till 4? And then I'll say, okay. And then there's the local sauna place and the cold dip place. I'll book that in advance. There's going to be a buffet dinner, so I'll make reservations for that. The next morning, it's okay, it's going to be a hike, or it's going to be go Stanley Park or something. So many options that you can do, right? And that is what I want to grow to. So how do you start to do these? How do you start to make these happen? Because we all have great ideas, but you do need some marketing. I'm not talking about paid ads or anything like that. This is what I do. So I'm going to tell you exactly what I do as a fitness and health professional. And then you can take it and say, okay, I could probably tweak this to something else. But the first thing I do is when I develop a course, I look for I'll go to Google and I type in, say, fitness school Indonesia, fitness school Mexico City, fitness school Brazil. And I reach out to schools that are currently running courses. Now, quite often, I would say most of the time, these people are developing or hosting courses, I should say, where people are flying in, professionals like myself are flying in, teaching a course, and then there's some sort of revenue share. That revenue share varies crazy. Some companies prefer to do a profit share. Other companies will just say, hey, you know what? We're going to sell the seats for as much as we want, and we're going to cover your flight, and we're going to give you a flat rate for coming in. There's so many different options. I've done 60-40, I've done 70-30, I've done flat rate. There's lots. So that's the first thing I do. And here's the thing, guys. They do most of the marketing for you. Now, I'll say most because here's the thing. They need content in order to market you. So quite often what I'll do is I'll put together a video like this. I'll go, hey guys, it's Roar Alexander, professional men's health coach and fitness transformation specialist, whatever. I will be coming this October to Manila, Philippines with my XYZ course. It is going to be held at blah, 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 and hope to see you there. I create usually 2 or 3 videos for these companies, send it to them. Quite often they'll edit it, or I can edit if it's something really simple. And that's it. They start marketing it to their audiences. They put out the posters, they accept the money, they do everything. So that is a really good way to go about it. So just start reaching out. Or I could say, for instance, let's say I wanted to do something where maybe I just wanted to reach the general public, right? I might contact a gym in a city and say, hey, I would love to come to your gym and I would love to teach a course on, say, men's fat loss and body transformation over 40. Now, here's the beautiful part, right? It's not a conflict of interest like say it would be maybe if I was to do this locally, because I'm going to a gym and I'm not training people in that gym. I'm just going in there, giving some information, and I'm leaving. And usually what happens is the gym is going to attract perhaps some new people that they've never had before. They're going to train with their trainers after I leave. So I'm not taking anything away. Now, I might get some contacts, maybe an online client or something like that. But the majority of the average people are still looking for that, that motivation of being in the gym, and they want to train with somebody local. So they'll come to me, and then from there, they usually end up, say, buying personal training or something else from that gym. And I have nothing to do with that. There's no percentage cut for me or anything like that. I'll just charge, and it's quite often a lower amount for the public, maybe $20 or $30. But hey, if it's $30 and you got 20 people coming, that's $600 right there, right? And it's usually just cash, and it's really super easy. Another thing you could do is use things like Eventbrite. So for instance, North America, I don't know if it's big anywhere else, but you can look for local, like Eventbrite or other businesses or online things like that sell tickets. And you could say, okay, I'm going to reach out to this business, a gym again, a studio for me, and I'm going to put up tickets for an Eventbrite, and we'll do a share with the gym, and we'll cover that. So that's another way we can do it, right? And we have the public come to that. The gym's happy because, yeah, they got a whole bunch of new people coming in. I'm happy because I got some money. The Eventbrite money goes to me, and then I give it to the gym. Now, a lot of people say, aren't you afraid of getting ripped off? Guys, I've been doing this for 15 years. I've never been ripped off once. First of all, I do my due diligence, and I usually work with somebody who I know. So quite often I'll see, okay, have they worked with other fitness professionals? Do they have a good reputation? Things like that. That's how you can do it. So think local, guys. Just think local right now. And then I always suggest going local first, because you want to get some video. So let's say I do a kickboxing course. Let's say I do a fitness kickboxing course. I might do it local. Maybe I get 8 or 10 people come to it, right? Made myself a quick, say there's $300, 10 people came, that's $3,000 right there for teaching a kickboxing course for a day or two. I will use the video I get from that. I'll use the testimonials, and then I reach down to, hey, Gym B in Mexico City. My name is Roar. I teach a beginner's kickboxing course. Here's some testimonials from it. It's great. I would love to come down there and run it through you. Is that something you're interested in? They almost always say yes. They almost always say yes, because there's that thing about gyms and stuff they want to bring in, or professionals, other businesses want to bring it in. That really, guys, is about it. That is how I do it. Now, I'm going to give you guys, now this is specifically for fitness professionals, and it's not quite making money, but it's a really cheap way to travel the world too. There is a company called Fit Bodies Inc., so fitbodiesinc.com. And what they do, and I'm not going to affiliation, so I'm not even a member, to be honest with you, but I know a lot of people who are. And what they do is they do teaching holidays. So what happens is you go to basically 4-star and 5-star resorts, like the big ones around the world, and all these beautiful places like Maldives, Thailand, wherever, that are like $800 to $1,000 per night. And you pay something like $100, $150 a night. And it's usually, they have 2 kinds. There's kinds where you bring your family. So say you, your spouse, and your 2 kids for that $150 or $100 a night. Or there's adults only, where say you and a spouse, you go alone, or even you and a buddy. You could be you and a friend going together. So let's say you're both personal trainers or fitness professionals or yoga teachers, whatever. You can go together, and you can even split the classes. And what you do is you teach 1 to 2 classes a day, and you get basically 80% off. Honestly, I wish I had found out about this guy like 20 years ago. I said to them, I'm like, how do not people know more about this? She said, we actually do have a lot of people that know about it. I just didn't know about it. But even then, I will say this. I'll say still most fitness professionals don't know about it. There's other organizations that do this, guys. When I taught in China, for instance, I was on a blog and it said looking for somebody to fill in my gym for a month. So I just emailed them and said, hey, I can come. It was a cash deal. I showed up and gave me a bunch of cash, and I taught, CrossFit for a month in China. So, guys, it's really that easy. Yoga, CrossFit, there's always people. Gym owners, guys, I'll tell you this a lot. Gym owners, quite often, they are stressed and they never get to take many vacations, especially the smaller ones, right? So they would love to have somebody that they know and that they can trust come in and run their business. But again, guys, this does not have to be for fitness professionals. Anybody can do it. I told you there's a guy that tints windows. He can do it. So that's it. Now, if you are a fitness professional, and this is not something that I do, I don't have a website for it. I'm just throwing it out there because I've helped a lot of people. When I do videos like this, or I do talks about this, quite often people are saying, hey, I got this great idea for a course. Can you go about helping me get it approved for CECs from some of the major organizations around the world, especially the bigger ones like ACE, Canfit Pro, NAFC, whatever. There's quite a few out there. And I am more than happy if you're interested, if you're a fitness professional that would like to develop continuing education courses. For you can start taking your expertise around the world. Just, you know what, honestly, just drop me a comment and or you can email me right here at roaralexander@hotmail.com. Yes, I had to use Hotmail because every version of Roar and whatever was taken on Gmail, unfortunately. So that's about it, guys. Hope you enjoyed this. So remember, 48, kid, married, house, car, full-time job. In fact, I have like 3 jobs, and I still manage to travel the world, teach quite a few times a year, and would like to get even deeper and more into it. I run retreats, so there's no excuses. Self-limiting beliefs blown out the door. All your excuses are out of here. Anyways, that's about it, guys. I'll talk to you later.